light gleaming in the distance. We are inside M&T Bank Stadium near the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, Maryland. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. Now that'll be caught by St. Brown. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. And they'll send the tight end in motion here. Goff now looking to throw. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Trenton Simpson, well, he just flew in there to drop him. But just 2 plays in, and Charles already their first sack defensively.
Yeah, how about that? That didn't take long, did it? And now they look at 3rd down, and that's another time to try and go and get the quarterback too.
And I don't think this is the script they had in mind for their opening drive. This is 3rd and long. Back to throw, Goff. St. Brown making the catch on the out route. And he's not going to sniff the first down here. He stopped at the 25. Their opening drive here is going to result in a punt. They got 7 yards there, but not enough.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
Fair catch called for and made at about the 32-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Ravens, they'll take over. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. They'll start by running the option to the right. And nothing doing on his first run. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. No gain there as he kept it himself at 2nd down. Well, for that being an option play, there really weren't too many options available for him, were there?
No, there weren't, and at least he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so they didn't lose anything, but you're exactly right. Nowhere to go.
Here's the former Heisman winner. It's Derrick Henry. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That burst good for 20 and a first down. Pretty explosive run on that inside handoff, and when you're a runner of his caliber, you don't need a big crease.
You really don't, but also what we're seeing is an offensive line that's taking charge at the point of attack, aren't we? Not only are they controlling the initial contact, they're actually utilizing what they call the strain the next 2 to 3 seconds to continue to move people.
Here's Jackson to throw. Escaping the pressure right. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down. Well, you know, paramount for this defense is trying to keep Lamar Jackson somewhat contained when he tries to run. They did a pretty good job of it there.
And you know it's so difficult for every defense that has to prepare for Lamar Jackson? You have to think and play at the same time. And I know that sounds like something you're supposed to do, but when you have to think about your assignments against him, it often slows down your feet. You don't move as fast. You've got to be prepared for this guy every step of the way and then try and match his athleticism.
No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
From the gun on 3rd down, Jackson. That is caught by Likely. And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Solid opening drive so far, Charles. They've moved this football into field goal range, but you know that they want to cap this off with 6 and not 3.
Absolutely. As one of the better coaches in the league always tells me, on offense, I want to throw body blows all game long and finish it with uppercuts. Well, here are the body blows right now. He's hoping in one uppercut will take care of the end of this drive.
Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and that will bring up 2nd down. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
2nd down and 4. Jackson now. He finds Bateman over the middle. Jackson to Bateman there, first down Ravens. We got to like what you're seeing from this offense here on the first drive. A nice sustained series to begin the game that will continue after picking up another first there.
Would you say the word methodical comes to mind? I love the execution. I love what they're doing on this drive. They're controlling the ball, controlling the game, controlling the clock.
And that flag accepted. That one into the hands of Flowers. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. Call it a gain of 3 on the play, and it'll be second down. But yet another completion here on this opening drive, and he's now perfect 4 of 4 to start. Pretty solid execution here.
And how about how everyone's handled their nerves? Because you know what it's like to start a ball game. You're so amped up and ready to go that sometimes the execution isn't there. They've been flawless so far. Well drilled, well prepared.
And he's going to be taken down back around the 35-yard line. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's third down.
All about the offense so far this drive, putting something sustained together. But the defense, they responded on that play. Second and manageable became third and long. The drive marching to the end zone is one play from stalling out.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Flushed out right. And he'll get this to the 23, but that'll be well short of what he needed. Able to pick up a dozen yards there on the scramble, but not enough. Fourth down. And that is something that we just saw there that you obviously have to be prepared for when you try to defend Lamar Jackson. That likely will not be the last time that we see him take off.
I love your language there, partner. You have to be prepared for it, and you work at it. But I don't care how much you prepare, it is hard as heck to execute against Lamar Jackson. Great vision, great speed, tenacity, runs through tackles, makes people miss. It's always a long game when you're trying to corral Lamar Jackson.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Back onto the field come the Lions for their second overall drive. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simply to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion. Guys are a little bit jumpy.
But you do.
Oh, you understand the same way. It's just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went 3 and out.
And now they have that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. And that's good for a gain of 6. And it's second down.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
Open man right side is St. Brown. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on third down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Here's Goff. He's got this complete to Williams. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. But Goff and Williams hooking up there for a Lions first.
And that's how you pick up a first down. Not only does he make the catch, but has enough body control to get his feet down inbounds, toe tapping and dragging to make sure he gets it done.
They'll fake the give. Now Goff. Finds Gibbs on the check down. So give him 2 yards there on the completion, and that's going to bring up second down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, It could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Goff now to throw. That pass caught. It's Williams. Touchdown, Detroit. Jamison Williams, 57 yards. And the Lions have answered that early field goal to take a first-quarter lead. And they just ran the fly route there, didn't they?
You broke it down perfectly. He ends up catching that one and taking it all the way into the end zone.
Well, thanks. It was pretty simple to break down, though. I mean, that's just a guy going, running on the go route, making a play.
Speed,
Kills.
speed, speed. And what does it do?
It kills.
There you go.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. Baltimore set to take over here for their second possession of the game. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. And he tries to power forward, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Flowers going to go in motion right. What a great read by the secondary. They come up to stop that touch pass before it can even get back to the line. 3rd and 15 coming up after that loss of 2. Well, I think the hope is, with a touch pass like that maybe you catch the defense off guard, but they were all over that one.
And it is the kind of play that works better against certain defenses, and this clearly was the wrong one to run into. Really nice job getting him down behind the line of scrimmage.
So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now, 3rd and long. Now it's Jackson. That is incomplete.
But they certainly came out firing in this one, and while that one was incomplete, I can't imagine that'll be the last shot that they take in this game.
4th down, and out comes Jordan Stout here to punt. Back deep, Khalif Raymond. The good kick, 48 yards, 4 on the return. And the Lions will take over. Detroit's offense ready to take over. Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10 at their 38. First carry now for David Montgomery. And he'll muscle his way up to the 43 for a pickup of right around 5.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure if you're a back, you spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
Play action. It's Goff. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete.
Textbook coverage right there. Played the ball, never lost sight of where it was headed, and stayed in perfect position to make a play on it. Able to keep the receiver and the quarterback in his sight lines.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Goff. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
They're bringing a lot of pressure here already in the first quarter. Already sacked him once. Now they get in there and knock another one away. You think maybe that Tucker rule being gone makes defenses a lot bolder?
Yes, indeed. That time, lucky that the arm was going forward. Incomplete pass. On fourth down, Jack Fox on to punt for Detroit. Fair catch taken right at the 10-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Ravens will get it. 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. They'll start by running the option to the right. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. Give him 3 on the keeper there, and it is 2nd down.
Well, they held him to a short gain on that one, and it almost felt like on that first run, they were trying to just throw the jab at him. So how do you stop a jab? Get closer and smother it, just as they did on that last play.
And they'll come up 2nd and 7. First carry now for Justice Hill. And he'll be taken down at the 18. Still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
They'll come up now 3rd and 3. And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. So they'll go ahead and accept the penalty. After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. Second quarter now from Baltimore. It's the Ravens in possession. The Ravens on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. From the gun, Jackson. And he's able to pick up the first before he's taken down at the 27. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
There he goes, and for good reason. Running with it has paid dividends earlier in this game and earlier on this drive. And until they prove they can stop him, I don't think he's going to be shy about continuing to run for first downs instead of airing it out.
A first down carry for Henry. Shoves him aside, and he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. 16 yards on that one and a Raven first.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive, they went 3 and out.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Off the option, here's Henry. And this time the yards won't come so easy as they'll in fact tackle him behind the line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
In motion right is Hopkins. Off the play fake, here's Jackson. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
My first thought is surprise because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
Play action. It's Jackson. Rolling to his left. And he will get this to the midfield stripe, but that's not going to be enough. He's a few yards short. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
That was a good effort there, trying to do it on his own, but as a defender, you're in a tough spot because you have coverage responsibilities behind you, and if you take off too quick to try and get him down, he might loft it over your head.
So better to track with your man defensively than try to go up and make a stop on the quarterback.
Exactly right. What you're hoping is that your guys in the front 7 can get him down.
And Detroit getting set to go now.
Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time, hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10.
At their own 28-yard line. On play action, they'll throw. Throw left side complete. That's right. And he is going to lose yardage here. That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple, and it's 2nd down.
We'll put that one in the win column for the defense. Trying to contain tight ends in the passing game is so difficult nowadays, but they did in a big way there.
Now it's Goff.
A little short pass here taken in by Laporta.
It'll be a gain of 5. And now 3rd down and 6 to go.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days, but you can flex him out. You can run.
That's caught inside the 20.
And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he gets all the way down inside the 20-yard line.
A big play there for Detroit. 52 yards. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
Right side to Williams.
And able to get this down inside the 15 to either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. The excellent play last time is followed by a much more routine gain of 3.
2nd and 7. That's to the tight end, Laporta.
And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. So the completion good for 7 there. And it'll leave them with 3rd and a full yard to go.
A few moving pieces on that play, because that was an RPO, was it not?
It was, but one important piece that didn't move incorrectly, the offensive line. Because when you're running this play, as he continued down the line of scrimmage, sometimes the lineman can wander downfield, and if you're more than a yard downfield, it's illegal to throw the football at that point. But they held their ground, held their spot, and turned it into a nice gain.
Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another 1st down.
And in a lot of ways, that catch is expected. Red zone presence, and that one was realized there. You've got to find your tight end in that situation.
Montgomery is not going to get in here as they push him back to the 2-yard line.
That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down.
Defense really sold out there to stop the run. Understandable down near the goal line. Now on 2nd down, you have to wonder, might we see play action here and a flip right over the top?
Now gone. And he's going to go down just outside of the 5, right around the 6-yard line.
That is the big fella, Nnamdi Madubuike, forcing his way in. He comes up with a sack.
When you're this close to the fence, so the ball's got to come out fast. Got to get out.
Touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. To throw is Goff. This is caught. A gain of 5, but not enough. Leads to a 4th and goal.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a 1st down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks.
Bates' kick is good.
And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3.
So 3 points on the board, as easy a field goal as you're going to get, but I can see you shaking your head.
I love that peripheral vision of yours, partner, because to me, if it's the fourth quarter and you're up 6, I get it. But now, even if you run and don't get in, you're still setting them up to go a long field, 98, 99-yard drive. How do you look at your defense and not give them that opportunity?
Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away.
And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Ravens ready to take over.
It's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
Now it's Jackson. A short throw caught by Andrews. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play. And it'll be second down.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
Off the option, here's Henry.
And he stopped immediately there. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be third down.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
They go play action with Jackson. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down.
Flying in for that sack, Aiden Hutchinson. And this is a quarterback who's already had success on the ground in this first half, but this time they're able to hem him in.
And it's always different when you rush a mobile quarterback as opposed to a guy you know will be right back in the pocket. In this case, you got to make sure the inside pressure and the outside pressure match, and maybe even a second wave to make sure if he squirts free, you've got someone to tackle him.
Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. So 8 yards on the completion there, and they'll be left with second and a couple.
Well, it certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate. Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
Goff now looks to throw.
He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Well, they came up with points in their first 2 possessions, but it looks like they'll come up empty here on their third drive. The defense finally starting to get locked into them a little bit. Might have to go a little bit deeper into their playbook on their next possession.
Jack Fox out to punt here on 4th down.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And he'll get credit for putting him inside the 20 as the fair catch is made right at about the 19-yard line. And now here come the Ravens. As we eke closer and closer to intermission, Charles, remember last time out they punted. They would love to get points here, especially if this is going to be their final possession of the first half.
Yeah, and this is what close games feel like because the pressure is on both sides, but sometimes the pressure is a little bit higher on the team with the slight edge because they're trying to hold on to that, trying to increase it. Let's see how this one continues.
So a holding penalty, and that'll send him backwards.
You know they're trying not to do that. I mean, we know that, right? We talk to them all the time. But sometimes the defensive guys just put you in awkward situations, and you get caught grabbing their jerseys.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty.
Off the option, here's Henry.
And a short gain here across the 10 to the 12. A short gain of just over 2 yards as the first half clock dips inside of 3 minutes.
Well, obviously, they would have at least liked to have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Instead, now they're dealing with 2nd and long.
I thought they would have passed it after the penalty. Probably wish they would have now.
Henry again on 2nd down.
Despite some tough running, he's still wrangled down shy of the 15. Now 3rd down is looming, a pickup of 2 on 1st down and just 1 yard there.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 16. Jackson.
He's got his target. That's complete. Down the sideline he goes. And he will be taken down, but it is a huge play there to flip field position. And they'll be on the other side of the field as we have reached the 2-minute warning.
Here's Jackson.
He'll find Bateman once more. And the Ravens are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
How about the way they're moving the ball down the field? They had a big play a moment ago, followed it up with another nice one here, and before you know it, they're already looking at 1st and goal.
A chance now to get even before the break as they come up 1st and goal.
Hill. Diving for the end zone, and he'll get there. Touchdown. So, partner, it was a passing game that drove them down the field, but when they get close, they trust that man in the backfield, and he took them home.
And they trust their offensive line as well because so many of these units, they specialize in either pass protection or run blocking. This group shows its versatility and gets both done on this drive.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that is going to tie our game as we approach halftime. All level now at 10 apiece as the kick's away.
And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Detroit's offense ready to take over.
It was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
Here's Goff.
And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet.
2nd and 10.
Goff now looking to throw.
And this throw incomplete. Now the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down.
As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
First run of the game for Jahmyr Gibbs, the Alabama product.
Powers past him at midfield. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards.
That's quite a spot there for his first carry of the game, but obviously they had plenty of faith in him, didn't they?
No question about it. And here, why not go with the fresh legs? Able to push forward, pick up that first. A shotgun snap for Goff. That is caught. It's Williams. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Here's Goff. Finding Williams once more, complete. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it'll be second down. Out of the gun, Goff.
Throw left side, caught by Laporta.
Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. This will be play number 7 on the drive. 3rd and a yard. Now a play fake, and it's Goff.
Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way. A dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well.
Bates' kick is good.
And they will take the lead at 13-10. So it was 4th down and 1 in the red zone, but they elect to take just the 3.
And I'm a little bit surprised that that's exactly what they decided to do. I kind of thought that they would go for it in that situation. But sometimes I'm sure you just think to yourself, take the 3 points, put them in your pocket, and move on.
So with 3 seconds remaining in the half, they will line up to kick this one away.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25.
The Ravens going to get one more drive here in this first half, and they'll have time for one play. That's it. 3 seconds to go before intermission.
Final play of the half here. It's Jackson. He's going to loft one deep left side here. That's caught inside the 20.
And he's going to be shoved out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Ravens set to receive the football, trailing here as we resume action in the 3rd quarter. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. The Raven offense set to start this 3rd quarter. And they're on the short end of the scoreboard here. Charles, what adjustments, if any, do you think they need to make for the second half?
Well, paraphrasing the gold medal hockey winning coach Herb Brooks, I just say you continue to play your game. Throw the ball. They had success doing it in the first half, so make sure you keep getting the ball to your playmakers, a little bit more to the perimeter perhaps, but above all, play your game.
A short throw caught by Andrews. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
And he probably should have given that one off, as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now third down coming up.
Well, he's had success running the football in this one. Yeah, that's undeniable, but that time the defense was on to it.
And, partner, I think the more you see a play like this, the more they're able to diagnose it quicker and easier for them to defend it. I think you have to dress it up a little bit and show maybe some different formations and looks.
And a good job defensively. They stop him short of the first at the 32. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up fourth down.
That looked great when he first took off because, in my mind, there was room to run and he had the marker in his sight. But I certainly didn't expect him to close so quickly, and neither did he. They got to him just in time, and now that forced him to make a decision with his fourth down call.
It's a 46-yard punt, 2 on the return.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
So we get a look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half.
Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10.
At their own 22.
Drive starts with a run from Gibbs. And not much doing there, maybe a yard up to the 23.
In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin too.
Now 2nd and 9.
Goff now to throw.
Got St. Brown running the quick slant here.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 14 yards that time for number 14.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they've put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Off play action. Here's Goff.
Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's 2nd down.
Yes, sir. How about an attaboy there on 1st down? Got his hand in and knocked it away.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Back to throw. Goff.
And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete.
Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
And darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Goff.
And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's 4th down.
Has to be a little bit of frustration there. Back-to-back incompletions. Receivers blanketed on both attempts, this time on 3rd down.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. This is taken at the 15. An 8-yard return there after a punt of 47. And out will come the offense as they take over.
And Baltimore's offense set for this next possession.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their own 23.
He'll start with a give to Henry. Yeah, he'll work free from one tackle, but that's about all as he's taken down.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Hill.
And he'll take this to the 32, a gain of about 3.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. The slot man in motion right. Jackson hit, and he lost the football.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. In motion, the tight end. Following the fumble recovery, Goff. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
That incompletion certainly slows things down a little bit and brings up a very important call for 2nd and long. What do? Run and try and get some yardage and make it 3rd and manageable? Or challenge the coverage again, hoping for a bigger gain?
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Here's Goff. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Gibbs. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3. Goff. And that is incomplete.
In the early days of the NFL, you could easily blame these drops on maybe some uneven or uncertain lighting in a stadium. Not anymore. The lights are pretty good.
Yeah, they're great here at night, but his 2nd drop, indeed, not a good look.
On 4th down, on is Jake Bates for the Lions field goal.
It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash.
Bates' kick is good.
And that extends their advantage to 6. It's 16-10.
So the defense are able to force their first turnover of the game, and then they add on to that by getting the field goal.
And you don't just want to take the ball away from your opponent, partner. You want to make them hurt as well. And if you don't score yourself on defense, turn it over to your offense and have them put points on the board.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. The offense for the Ravens returns to the field.
And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal and they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive? A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown, but they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think the coach would be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield and punch in the end zone without turning it over. Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
2nd down, they go again with Henry.
And they get him behind the line, so that short gain on 1st down quickly negated. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a 3rd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. Throwing is Jackson.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Give him 32 on the play. What a luxury to have a tight end that can run a post route like that.
It's a luxury for the offense. It's an extreme luxury for the quarterback. Always has a great outlet and usually able to come up with a nice play down the middle of the field.
Jackson now.
And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
And that's one of those plays where it's hard to keep 2 eyes on the football when you know the contact's coming, let alone getting 2 hands around it, hugging it to your body, and absorbing the hit, even for those big tight ends who you would think could absorb that contact.
To throw is Jackson.
Looking for Bateman. He's got him complete.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. They'll try to run for the first with Henry. And he won't get close. Only a yard, 4th and 3.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this third down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
And his kick here is good. And the lead is back down to 3 here at 16-13. Maybe a little fortunate there. That was leaking a little, maybe leaking a lot, but he got it.
Yeah, he actually was able to make it work. How about the body language, though, right? As he's watching that ball leak to the right, trying to bring it back in, and had just enough to get it done.
Here's the kick unit now for the Ravens as they'll send this one away.
And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30.
Here's the Lion offense now as they get ready to take over. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try and increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right. He's pretty much been completely neutralized.
And they'll send the tight end in motion. Now Goff. Finding his big receiver Patrick over the middle. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
They need 2. Here's 3rd down.
Oh, and the hard count might have got him. This might be a 1st down.
So they'll accept that penalty, and that'll, of course, move the football up the field.
So forget the 3 and out. The penalty makes this 1st and 10.
And off to Gibbs, headed right here. Down the right sideline.
Touchdown, Detroit.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
59 yards.
And the Lions are able to widen their advantage.
Well, I guess when you look back on it, it was just a matter of time until he popped a big one like that. And, you know, at halftime, you and I discussed it. They had done a nice job on him in the first half. But there were a couple of occasions where it felt like he might wiggle out of traffic and take it to the house. Finally here in the second half, that got done.
Point after, right down the middle. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28.
Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And tough to win games if you're going field goal, field goal, field goal here. They got field goal last time. Now they'll be looking for a touchdown.
They're looking for the big chunk now because, as you noted, the field goal way of doing it makes it that much harder and puts more pressure on every possession for you now. Go ahead and get 6 and feel a lot more comfortable about the position they're in.
Bigger chunks. We'll see if they can get the score.
Pass on the crossing route is complete. This is Andrews. Mark Andrews.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Mark Andrews, 72 yards.
And the Ravens have cut it back within a score.
When they drew that up, I don't think they envisioned it ending in a house call. But he got it and took it all the way home.
Really impressive run after the catch, wasn't it? That was really special by him. But let's face it, in today's NFL, those tight ends are often former wide receivers or maybe even sometimes bigger running backs. They just put them in a position to get a great matchup and make plays like that.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26.
So out now come the Lions.
Their lead down to a field goal now as they start with a 1st and 10.
They'll motion the tight end across the formation.
And they start things off with a carry by Gibbs here.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
I'll tell you what, this defense hasn't played its best, but they're still right in this football game. And if they keep making plays just like that, they're going to give their offense a chance.
Second down, and they go back to Gibbs.
And once again, they stop him behind the line. Great job by this Ravens defense. 1 yard is the loss. They back up even further to a 3rd and 15.
Well, that was not what you would call straight line pursuit for a middle linebacker to make this play. He's got to work his way through the clutter to get to the ball carrier on the outside, and he does exactly that. That's called avoiding the trash.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
And that's a really good job there defensively. They went into this possession knowing that they needed to get a stop. They're in a tight ball game, and they got it done. Great work to force the 3 and out. Got the football right back for their offense. They've got to go to the sidelines feeling pretty good about themselves and encouraging their offensive mates to get some points.
And here now the punter Fox as he sends this one away.
Fair catch called for and taken right near the 30-yard line. And the Ravens taking the field.
Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
Jackson. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Normally you think the tight end's going to be able to catch the football and handle that contact, but in this case, maybe a little too much target to hit. That one was timed well, incomplete.
Well, thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night in the NFL. 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10 coming up.
Now it's Jackson.
That's complete to his receiver, Bateman.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 22 yards on the catch and run, a 1st down.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
Off the option, here's Henry.
Trying to keep those big legs churning, but he's going to go down in the backfield. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I think sometimes when you're trying to get after the quarterback, maybe it's better to be lucky than great, because I think on that one, he's just trying to get upfield and rush the passer. Instead, the tackle for the loss landed right in his lap.
Now it's Jackson. That's out to Hill, right side complete. Short completion, just 4 yards. 3rd and 7 now.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the 2nd half.
Jackson. Rolling to his right. And he's taken down inside the 30. Lamar Jackson, such a threat with those legs, able to improvise and get the first. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Baltimore. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter.
And they'll let the quarterback keep it here on 1st and 10.
Dances by at the 20. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Well, he is certainly dangerous when he spots a lane, and he keeps it himself there. Worked out well.
And how about the moving parts on a play like this? You know you have to practice it over and over because it's almost like a ballet that has to be choreographed. But how about once he made the decision to go, he committed to it and went. Let's face it, most teams are going to defend the running back much more than the quarterback on that type of a play.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
It's rare that a man his size can at least push forward for a yard, but they stopped him there for nothing.
You're talking about Tiny? You talking about the little guy back there? That monster. Yeah, you're exactly right. And it takes a group effort to get a guy like that down and not let him find some space. The first guy in, he's got to take one for the team, right? Because he's just waiting there and holding on for everyone else.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Alex Anzalone coming in from that outside linebacker spot. He gets him down. It's a loss of 5.
I thought there at the end he may have had a chance to release that, but that pocket closed a little too quickly, and down he went.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to do everything he could to extend the life of the play, probably counting in his head 1, 2, and then he ran out of time.
Oh, the motion comes too late, and this is going to be a delay.
So a little tardy getting everyone set, and the clock hit 0 before they could snap it.
Yeah, you can take your time and use the clock and try and get set up, but once it gets near 5 seconds, that's when you often hear a quarterback yelling, hurry, hurry, to make sure everybody's ready to get the snap off.
Every penalty so critical at this stage of the game, as now they've got it 3rd and long. They'll bring one of the tight ends in motion left. From the gun on 3rd down, Jackson. A short throw caught by Andrews. Just a gain of a couple there. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. He got out of bounds. That's a good thing, but still short of the first.
And now, since this brings up 4th down, the defensive play caller, grab your nerves, because now you don't want to be so amped up that you give them a 1st down by getting out of your lanes, but you also don't want to just lay back and let them have it easily.
And his kick is good. And in the 4th quarter, this game is tied. So he remains perfect, 3 for 3 in the field goal department.
And it's so important for any offense to have an ace like him up their sleeve, isn't it? Because now you know what his range is, and as soon as your offense gets there, you're pretty much counting on 3 points going up on the board.
Now this one setting up for a great finish. All tied in the 4th as the kick's away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The Lions offense set to take over. And we essentially have a brand new ball game. After that last field goal has tied us all up, we brace for what should be an exciting rest of this 4th quarter. Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10.
Right at the 30. They'll try and start this drive in the air.
Throw over the middle. He finds Williams.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 1st down yardage on the first play of the drive. Give him 14. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
In motion goes the tight end.
On 1st and 10, here's Gibbs.
And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield.
89 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on.
From the lineman to the guy running with it, that was a well-executed first down by the offense. With 2 shots left to get the first, you can get a little aggressive here on second down if you want and try for some bigger yardage.
Second down, and they go back to Gibbs.
And that one blown up quickly, as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up third down.
Sometimes I think these defensive tackles get a little bit of a bum rap. We just see them as big guys that eat up blockers for others to make tackles. Oftentimes they're quicker than they get credit for. And this time he uses quickness to make a play.
From the gun on third down, Goff. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Gibbs. And they get him down about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A third down pickup of 5.
We can make this one pretty simple. Locked up all of his progressions downfield, forced to get it to his running back. But how about the way they ran to the football and knocked him down to force a fourth down?
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll come on to kick for a 6th time tonight. And the punt over the side in the air, and the spot will be inside the 35.
Baltimore about ready to go on offense. Excellent job by their defense to force the punt and provide them with this opportunity, all tied in the 4th quarter.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at the 34. They'll start the drive with Hill.
Takes it to about the 37.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Here's a 2nd down and 7 from the 37.
Here's Jackson to throw. A short throw caught by Andrews.
And Andrews going to have a Ravens first down as he'll get this up to the 45-yard line.
That one goes for 8 yards.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Now Jackson.
That one tipped, and it's incomplete. Well, good hands there defensively. It's 2nd down.
You got to give some credit. They're able to hop up in the air and bat that one away. And that's frustrating for an offensive lineman because the only recourse is when he goes in the air to try and give him some type of a pop or a shove, hoping to bring his arms down.
In motion left, Flowers. Now they'll fake the jet sweep and run up the middle with Henry.
And the play goes nowhere, losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. Just a 1-yard loss that time, but that's not what they needed. Now they're dealing with a 3rd and long.
When coaches stress their defense being physical, they don't just mean the big guys. How about the guys on the outside, the cornerbacks? It's not just their job to patrol the airspace. They can get involved in the run game as well.
Here's Jackson. He's going to look deep, end zone for Hopkins. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
That would have been a nice one to hit on in a tie game. You start to think that one big play, maybe the next big play, could turn out to be the game winner. They took the big shot, but it winds up incomplete.
The Ravens send their punter out now, as he'll come on for his 5th kick of the night. Fielded just inside the 20. Call that a 41-yard punt, 6 yards on the return.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
So here come the Lions now.
Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10.
At their 25-yard line. And they'll send the tight end in motion here. Here's Goff.
He's got it complete to Gibbs.
He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
Now whistles and a flag down. Looked like one of the Lions linemen might have moved. The false start hurts him there a bit. Backs him up to 2nd and 9.
A give right side for Gibbs. And not a whole lot there. Maybe a yard to the 27. Here's 3rd and 7.
Now Goff.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. So that one a hold right guard.
And you understand why offensive and defensive linemen probably go to martial arts schools and work on their hands so often, because that can be the make or break difference on a play. This time he had to grab a jersey in order to make the play happen. Got caught for the penalty.
Goff now to throw.
Setting up the screen. This is Gibbs.
And he'll be brought down at the 28, and that is well short of the first. They do get 10 back, but still a ways to go on 4th.
Well, partner, they've used him quite well out of the backfield in this one. And here's another nice example. They set up the screen, and he's able to pick his way downfield for a nice gain there.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. It's a 44-yard punt, just 3 on the return. And the Ravens, they'll take over. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10, right at the 30. And the busy night for Henry continues. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Tackled there by Alex Anzalone.
His carries tonight, they're getting up there, so maybe one of those every now and then is understandable.
I would agree with that. Understandable every now and then. Sometimes you come back and you fake it to him and go play action. But other times you say, okay, they got him on that one. We'll come back to him in another carry.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10.
A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
But based on the play we just saw there, he might not be the guy you want to challenge in coverage on these all-important snaps. He certainly looks dialed in right now.
An incomplete pass on 2nd down. That muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10. In motion left goes a tight end. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. A short throw caught by Andrews. And he will be very close to a 1st down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. A 41-yard punt there with no return, and the Lions will take over.
And Detroit back in possession of the football.
And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
He's trying to get it to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
And that'll bring up 2nd down. Goff now looking to throw.
He'll find Williams on the slant.
That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Williams being motion left.
Play action. It's Goff. Finding Williams once more, complete.
And he is going to have a Lions first down. It won't be by much. He needed 3, and he got 3, barely. But the mark shows first down.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the first. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage.
They'll come up now. This is 2nd and long.
Now it's Goff.
St. Brown on the catch.
And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30.
It drives some people crazy to see those short throws underneath. They've got to find a way to gash the defense downfield.
Big play looming here. This is 3rd and 7 with a crowd on their feet.
Goff.
Able to get this to Patrick.
And he'll go out near midfield at the 49. So with a yardage on that completion, he's now right at exactly 300 yards on the game.
And isn't that the magic number you get? All right, 300. That means it's going to go on a commemorative football to put on your mantle when they give you the game ball if your team wins. So much confidence flowing through him right now, throwing the football. I think it's permeated itself throughout the entire team. They feel good about what they're doing.
He'll get this one to Patrick. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
Nice, well-coached, a team that understands what's going on. They still have time to work the middle of the field as they just did there.
They come up now on 2nd and 2.
Goff now to throw. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down.
Now we're in the situation where the quarterback's got to take full charge of his huddle. Got to totally command it, make sure all eyes are on him. All focus is locked in. Going to call multiple plays and go over different situations and scenarios to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Now Goff. And that will be incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. 1 incompletion, 2 incompletion. They're going for more.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. And this will be out of bounds at the what here? The 12-yard line.
The Ravens offense back out there. Well, partner, here it is. They've got the chance to win the game. You'd have to think they need to get it near the opposite 40 to have a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. We'll see what they can do.
And you're right about that, because if we look at it in macro, that's what it looks like. But I think in micro, the head coach has already asked the special teams coach, what is he feeling? What does he think? Where does he want the football? What's the yard line we have to get? And he's already relayed that to his quarterback and his offense. They know what the goal is. Now the key, can they get there?
Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game.
And Baltimore's offense set for this next possession.
They, of course, tie game, would like to avoid overtime if they could.
And a lot of people would go ahead and play it safe here and get to overtime and try and win it there. But, you know, sitting up here in the booth,
take some gambles.
I say let's go for this thing, try and push it, and maybe catch the defense back on their heels a bit.
See if they do that.
And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground incomplete.
Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball, if it arrives, it surprises you. That may have happened to him in that situation.
Here's Jackson.
Flush to his right. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. The Ravens going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game.
Final minute, one timeout remaining. 1st and 10. Throwing, Jackson. And that went too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete.
Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You're having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
Now Jackson.
And this is going to be hauled in by the tight end, Andrews. Ravens going to use their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with 25 ticks remaining on the clock.
This is 1st and 10. Jackson. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
They had their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
Here comes 2nd down. Jackson to throw. And that one too wide and incomplete.
What would look like a march to the end zone has hit a momentary roadblock with that incompletion. No need to panic. They just got to come up with a high percentage play call and see if they can get their offense back on track.
A field goal from this spot likely out of the question. They've got to get closer here on 3rd down.
Jackson. Now that's to the left sideline and incomplete.
4th down now, and defensively, Charles, you know, they're just asking this crew for one more stop.
And you know that they're feeling the momentum right now, but they have to be very careful not to get over-exuberant, overexcited, and blow an assignment and give up the big 1st down.
The Ravens send their punter out now as he's on to kick it away. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin them back. And Detroit getting set to go now.
And Charles, obviously not much time left. I'm curious to see if there's enough for them to get into field goal range and try to win this thing.
And partner, you and I both know the safe calls to kneel and just take it into overtime. But it's also very tough to pass up a chance to win it right now as well. But remember, if you do attempt that, it's got to be a big play downfield and still leave yourself enough time to get your field goal unit out there and kick for the win.
And we've got free football. 4 quarters done, and we're dead even. We'll have overtime after this timeout.
So the Lions now, they'll get the first crack at things here in overtime as we are back underway. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Here's Goff. Now throw right side here, going to be incomplete. Opening drive of overtime. Both teams will get a possession, barring a defensive score. Here's 2nd down. That's to the tight end, Laporta.
9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. Off play action. Here's Goff. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Well, forget the run on 3rd and 1. They shock the D and rip off a pretty big play.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down.
It's another zone defense. It looks like it's open for possibilities, but they did a nice job patrolling the middle of the field and forcing an incompletion.
Goff throwing again. Now that'll be caught by St. Brown. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Goff.
He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point, and they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
And this one is no good. He missed it. And that changes everything here in OT.
And now that changes things in a big way, because you're forced to try a long field goal to hopefully get something out of that opening drive in overtime, and it's unsuccessful. And now on the other sideline, maybe you just need a couple of 1st downs, get your own kicker set up with a chance to win this game.
First throw in overtime now for Jackson.
He's got his man downfield. That's Bateman.
And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. 16 yards right off the bat and a 1st down. They go back to that well. He's had a great game. Defensively, they haven't been able to stop him. Same thing here in overtime.
And sometimes that goes to the play caller's ego, because a lot of times you have so many different plays you want to call, but when you spot a matchup that's working for you or a player that has the hot hand, keep giving it to them. That tells me you're mature as a play caller, and it's working for them in overtime.
And that is nearly intercepted. Oh, that would have changed things here in overtime, but instead, it's just 2nd down.
And here in overtime, that had the potential to be the definition of a game-changing interception, but he couldn't find a way to pull it in, and that's a disappointment there.
Here's Jackson.
That one into the hands of Flowers.
9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. To throw again is Jackson.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he will have a Ravens 1st down as this defense unable to hold. It's a 7-yard gain there on 3rd and 2.
Charles, you get into these overtime situations, that's not a bad guy to dial into.
Well, when you have to have plays, especially in a spot as you just described, we're in OT, you've got to go to the guys you can trust and you know are going to make the plays. Well, they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
Play clock all the way to 0. Didn't get the snap off. 5-yard penalty.
And you see the head coach writing that note on his play sheet right now. He's going to be addressing that with his staff. A sense of urgency, get to the line of scrimmage, snap the ball.
Now they need 15 yards on this series after the delay of game. 1st and 15. Play action. It's Jackson.
A short one there, caught by Likely.
And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. They get 14 yards, but not enough for the first down due to the previous penalty. He's padding his already great numbers here in overtime. More importantly, though, moving his guys downfield.
And I think that's exactly what's going through his head right now. Moving them downfield, putting them in a position to win the game. The stats, that's for the fantasy guys. I know they're enjoying that show.
Throw caught by Flowers.
And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. That gain of 15 gets him on the doorstep, 1st and goal.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a 1st and goal.
And Jackson throwing once more.
And he is in. They win it here in overtime. So it's a win here for the Ravens, and it was just too much Lamar Jackson. He really played well.
Yeah, this was a clinic in how to throw the football. Somehow, he wound up with only 2 touchdown passes despite throwing for over 400 yards. But his impact, it loomed large in this one.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Ravens are victorious here as we say so long from Baltimore.